Hello, everyone, all the happy thinkers out there. It's Melissa here. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my laptop. There we go, stabilized there. And tonight's episode is actually the 48th episode of WTF. So I'm kind of excited. We're almost reaching number 50. So again, it's WTF is brought to you by Think Me First. And my name is Melissa. I'll be the host of tonight's show. And tonight we are going to talk about how to create that can-do attitude so that we can succeed in life. And if you join us, I'll be watching the comments. Just jump in, say your name, where you're from, and if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and do that, and I will try and look over frequently. Okay, so we're going to talk about this, how you can develop this can-do attitude so that you can have success in life. All right. So first, we need to think about life itself. Everything that we do is we do with an attitude. It's either a positive attitude or a negative attitude. What we don't want is that negative attitude, because that can kind of ruin the entire outlook of your success. It inhibits your ability to succeed because you have negative thoughts, then you'd have negative actions, and then you have negative feelings, and it just kind of all trickles downhill from there. We want to be able to create a successful life and have fun, achieve those goals and those dreams that we want to make happen. The person with the negative feelings, they just kind of go around shrugging their shoulders like, you're letting life happen to you. But those people that think positive are actually going around and they're actually creating their life, okay, or what they want out of life. So here are just 4 quick tips that you can use to succeed in life with the can-do attitude. Number 1 is going to be to start with your mindset. So I'm going to tell you a little story here real quick in regards to mindset. So I'm a pretty athletic person. I played volleyball, basketball, softball, volleyball, hockey. You name it, I picked up tennis. I can pick things up easily when it comes to sports. So I'm pretty athletic. I'm pretty in shape. But it was funny because, it's all about mindset. And I had the mindset for most of those sports I play. But when it came to running, my kids would always ask me, Mom, what did you run? Because they were all cross country and track stars. And I'm like, oh, I ran bases. So it's a different mindset, when you're playing those sports. But I would go to 5Ks just to stay in shape and, to have fun, support a lot of my friends that were maybe having benefits or, something like that to raise money for a charity or something. So I would go to these 5Ks, and it's funny because I'd be looking at everyone. I'd be like, because I always try to find someone in the crowd that I think could push me. So I would always see people that I didn't think were maybe as athletic, and I'm like, okay, I can't follow them because they're probably going to be slower than me, and so forth. So you get the idea. When in all actuality, I was getting passed by these people that I didn't think were going to pass me. So again, they had that mindset and they were driven, and that's what it takes to succeed. So that kind of led me to believe that that's where the growth mindset comes in and how positive and powerful it can be. With the growth mindset, you automatically have this can-do attitude and you don't give up. And if you fail, then you just learn, you pick up from there, and then you go at it even stronger. So, next time you look in that mirror, don't say that I'm not good enough or I can't do this. You want to have the mindset that I can do this. I got this. I may fail. So what? I'll learn from it and move on. So that is number 1, the mindset. Number 2 is going to be focus on being congruent. And so what I mean by this is we're just going to think of a little 3-legged stool, okay? And each stool or each leg on that stool represents your thoughts, and one represents your actions, and then the other one represents your feelings, okay? So what I'm trying to say is a lot of people have that old adage, think positive. If you think positive, you'll be positive. It's kind of true, but what happens if you're thinking positive and then you're feeling negative So then you can't even determine how you're going to act. Okay. And that's where that three-legged stool comes in. So if you're thinking positive, but you don't know, or you're feeling negative and you don't know how you're going to act, there's two legs on that three-legged stool that aren't very stable. It takes all three of them to bring stability and success. So, you have to protect each leg. You have to protect your feelings, your thoughts, and your actions, and they all have to work together to bring success. Now, again, that is the key for the congruent piece. So here are just a few quick ways to practice this congruency for this three-legged stool that you have. Number one is going to be remember that the way you think needs to be in alignment with the way you act. Okay, let me read that again. Remember that the way you think needs to be in alignment with the way you act. This is where the powerful thoughts come in. If you have that can-do attitude, the way you're thinking is the way you're going to act. So you're going to be able to achieve it. And then you're going to have confidence, and it's just all going to build you up. Number two is going to be understand that the way you act is going to have an impact on your attitude. So tell yourself, if you tell yourself something over and over again, I can do this, I got this, nothing, most likely you're going to do it. And if you don't, then you're just going to shrug it off and go at it again. But if you have that negative attitude starting out, that you act negatively, then you're going to have that negative attitude and you're not going to succeed. Number three is to realize the way you feel is going to reinforce the way you act. So if you're feeling positive, you're going to act in a positive manner. If you're feeling negative, vice versa, a negative manner. So, think about the way you're feeling right now and how you're carrying yourself. Okay. You may be just sitting there, just watching me, but, just throw your, straighten up your back and throw your chest out and just smile, even if you don't have a reason to. And then, so how does that feel? You feel kind of good, right? It's, I like to use the example. It's kind of like when you go to an interview, you want to dress up because you perform the way you dress, right? Or you dress for your day. You put on a uniform, then you have that mindset of, it's time to play ball or whatever you're doing. You go to a wedding, guess what you're going to do? You're going to wear a wedding dress. So you just kind of prepare yourself for that. And then, you'll have this can-do attitude, and then you'll have the success that you crave in life. You can be able to obtain your dreams and your goals. All right. Okay. So you see the loop on this one. And then number three of the four topics to succeed or create that can-do attitude is to be mindful of your self-tank. So your self-worth is your self-talk. It's all driven or depends upon your self-talk. And I have an article on this. If you go to thinkmefirst.com and just type in self-worth, I do have an article on that, or self-acceptance is what it is. And I've said this before in many of my videos. Again, if you are not happy with yourself, you're going to struggle to find happiness. And if you do, it's not going to last, because you have to be happy with yourself in order to find eternal happiness. So I'm going to start with this little story about this guy. He was a Major League Baseball player, and he would often visit some of the prisons in the area and try and lead some of these prisoners, to better lives, start thinking better about themselves so that they can be productive citizens when they're out and in the real world. And he often talked about how his dad always said, you play baseball really well. You're going to be a great baseball player. You might even be able to play Major League Baseball, and here he is. So he's playing Major League Baseball. Well, one of the prisoners stood up and he said, well, my dad used to say something like that to me too. But if I did something wrong, then he would often say, if you keep acting like that, you're going to go to prison. And sure enough, that's where the guy is. Now, this doesn't say that our parents, determine our future by how they talk to us, because it's all about how we react to it, the circumstances, or how we deal with it. But, he has that self-talk, if he hears that all the time, he starts to believe it and talk it. And that would be the difference between him and the successful person who, plays Major League Baseball. So, we all have the ability to respond to certain circumstances, and it's our responsibility as to how we handle them. So just keep in mind, the way that you talk to yourself is the way you perceive yourself. Okay. So, and it's really easy to do because we're our own worst critics. I do it when I make a craft or something, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I can't believe that. I can't believe I made that mistake. And then my husband's like, oh my gosh, that's wonderful. That's really nice. So be nice to yourself. I mean, we find weaknesses in others and forgive those and things. Do the same for yourself. Treat yourself as you would your best friend. Okay. Because again, we need to encourage ourselves and believe that we can do what we want. And that's where success comes in. Your self-talk, it's just a whole big circle. Your self-talk plays a huge role in your self-image. Well, then your self-image plays a huge role in your attitude. And then your attitude plays a huge role in your ability to succeed or, with your various endeavors and journeys. So drop whatever limiting attitudes that you have and, just replace them with all positive. Okay. So last but not least is number 4, and that's to become an activationist. All right. So plenty of people have a lot of ideas, but very few actually carry them out. So there's 2 types of people. There's an activationist and there's a passivationist. The activationist is the one who has tons of ideas, but they execute them. And they execute them without hesitation. They have that can-do attitude and they're going to do it. If these people or these type of people say they're going to go on vacation, guess what? They are going on vacation. If they say they're going to make a phone call, they're going to make that phone call. So that is an activationist. Now, a passivationist, on the other hand, they will have a lot of these ideas like the activationist, but the thing that sets them apart is they don't act upon them. Okay. So they, the passivationist tends to postpone or procrastinate their dreams and goals continuously. I used to be one of these people. I was a huge procrastinator through college and everything. A lot of it is fear, and I'm going to touch on that here in a minute. So you don't be a passivationist because you're not going to succeed. The lack of activation or the lack of action is going to be equate to your lack of success. Having that passive mentality, it's just going to neglect the can-do attitude, and you're not going to succeed like you would like to. So the first thing that you need to do if you're a passivationist, I knew I was going to slaughter this, passivationist, I can't say it now. Anyways, you know what I mean. A passivationist, if you are one of them, the first thing you need to do is not be a perfectionist. That's like most passivationists are perfectionists. And that's really hard to break. I have an article on that as well, too. If you just, again, go to thinkmefirst.com, go in this search bar and just type in perfectionism. I have a good article on that one to help you out if you are a perfectionist. But that would be like one of the first things to do, because, the perfectionists are huge into fearing that they're going to do something wrong. This is why they procrastinate or postpone things. This also includes, waiting for that perfect time for something. Well, guess what? There's no perfect time. Okay. Every minute that you waste just thinking about it is, you're more likely going to not even do it. There's a meme somewhere, and I put it in our Facebook group several weeks ago, I think, but it was something to the effect that 20 hours is 20 hours of thinking about something is more wasted than 20 minutes of trying to do something. something to that nature. And it kind of pretty much fits the mold here. So let's get rid of the tomorrows and the laters and the sometimes, and replace those words with, you know, readiness and anxiousness, urgency, and that can-do attitude. So you can do this, all right? I'm just going to recap this WTF real quick. Remember that it all starts with that mindset. To achieve success, you have to have that growth mindset. You have to have that mental check and be in the game. So the mindset growth will progress you into more succession. Number 2 was that is positive thinking can only get you so far. Remember our 3-legged stool? Okay. And this is true because, again, to develop that can-do attitude to succeed, we need to place equal importance on our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. I mean, just positive thinking is not going to get you to succeed. You need to act on it, and then you need to act on it with positive thoughts and feelings. Okay. So just remember that. And then number 3 was our self-worth. Depends upon our self-talk. And I know that it might sound silly at first, that you are, you know, saying positive things, or just your self-talk, you're just saying positive things to yourself so that you start to think them, and the more you think them, the more you believe them. But think about, even if this is silly, think about, you know, it's much better to benefit from success by doing this than, it far outweighs, you know, being embarrassed or self-conscious about something, or, you know, just the experience of failing. And then number 4 is to become an activationist. So do not allow fear to freeze you from doing what you want to achieve. You know, we need to embody these positive habits of an activationist, and then we need to act on them. Okay. You have all these ideas, act on them. Just don't let them sit around for nothing, because then they become nothing. With each self-achievement that you start to incur, and they build up, so you start to get that self-confidence. I have an article on that too. Again, if you go to thinkmefirst.com and just put in confidence, it'll bring up all those articles. But you know, that's about it. If you have the ideas, take action on them. And this cycle of success, guess what? It should never stop. It doesn't need to stop. So just keep continuing to grow. And that's about all I have for you tonight. And I want to just thank everyone who is watching my videos. It's very encouraging, and the encouraging words and everything I'm hearing from everyone. I'm just ecstatic and thrilled that people are finding some value in this material. But that's all I have for this evening. And just one more thing, remember to think me first. It's not selfish, but it is necessary. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.